young man always carried an iron chain while sweeping the ground. He had done this every single day for 5 years. The chain was forged from meteorite iron. It looked ordinary, but it weighed over 10,000 pounds. Sweeping under such weight left deep scars on his wrists. That day, he was sweeping the yard as usual. The number 1 female warrior in the martial world came to his door. She knew how strong he was. Only by defeating him could she truly become number 1. Without saying a word, she attacked him, but the young man stayed silent and stood still. He took the palm strike head on, seeing that he would rather be injured than dodge. She used her full strength, this time to force him to fight. If he still took it head on, he would surely die. True masters often respect each other, and the woman did not want to win unfairly. Seeing how determined he was, willing to die rather than fight back, she gave up the challenge. Before leaving, she left behind the God of War token. She told him that if he ever changed his mind, he could come find her for a duel at any time. The young man had long seen through fame and glory. 5 years ago, he had struggled his way to the title of number 1 in the martial world, but in doing so, he offended countless enemies, which led to his entire family being slaughtered. His father did not want him to seek revenge, so even at death, he never revealed the enemy's name. The young man was filled with regret. He held the title of number 1, yet could not protect his own family. From that day on, he lived like a walking corpse, wanting only to waste away and end his life quietly. By chance, he was saved by the martial hall's young mistress. Now with no desires or ambitions, he spent his days sweeping floors and doing chores, hoping to live out his life in peace and obscurity. But just after the female warrior left, the young mistress came with a bundle and told him to leave. Her reason was that the martial hall no longer wanted to support a useless man. Someone like him was nothing but dead weight, and did not deserve to stay. Her words were harsh. Since he was living under their roof, he had no reason to argue, so he quietly left the martial hall. In truth, the young mistress had no choice. Enemies were already coming to cause trouble, and she did not want to drag him into it, so she deliberately drove him away. It turned out that the young master of the Gale Breaker Hall had set his sights on the young mistress, using a sparring match as an excuse. He planned to force her to submit. The people of the martial hall were no match for Gale Breaker Hall. They were clearly using their strength to bully others, and the young master of Gale Breaker Hall was known for his terrible character, so the young mistress would rather die on the arena than marry him. Before the official match began, to save time, Gale Breaker Hall brought out the obelisk. This stone could measure a warrior's ranking. Only warriors with a visible rank were allowed to step onto the arena. The martial hall's young master was the first to test it, but no matter how hard he tried, he could not light up the stone. Having no rank meant he was not qualified to fight on the arena. Everyone thought Gale Breaker Hall had tampered with the stone, deliberately preventing the martial hall from competing, so they would lose by default. But the young master of Gale Breaker Hall stepped forward to prove it himself. He poured his inner power into the stone. At once, the stone burst into bright light. Then the words, "5th place," clearly appeared. This meant he was ranked 5th in the entire martial world. His strength spoke for itself. By showing this, he also proved the stone was not rigged. Next, the young mistress stepped forward to test it. She used all her strength, but her rank stopped at 25th. Even so, it was enough to qualify her for the arena.
小美人，若是害怕，能少数着几秒时。
The young mistress knew she could not win, yet she charged forward without hesitation, ready to die. She never planned to walk off the arena alive. Even if she died today, she would never marry that infamous young master of Gale Breaker Hall. Again and again, she rushed forward, and again, she was struck down. At the same time, the young man heard what was happening at the martial hall. Only then did he realize that the young mistress must have spoken those cruel words on purpose. Otherwise, someone who was always kind and gentle would never suddenly turn so harsh. He immediately rushed back. When he arrived, he saw the young mistress already beaten and covered in wounds. As the saying goes, a drop of kindness should be repaid with a spring of gratitude. The young man no longer cared about his father's last wish, and stepped forward without hesitation.